Well, people, it is General Greene. God bless you. Jesus Christ is King. You are currently in a cataclysmic reset. This is an emergency worldwide warning to you, your friends and family with eyes to see and ears to listen. Please get this message out because you are in a cataclysmic reset. You need to make a firm decision today what side of history you're going to be on. The US dollar is officially collapsing before your very eyes, as predicted in the United States. Fiat currencies are collapsing worldwide, whether or not this is the dollar, or it is the yen, or it is the Swiss franc, which is one of the stronger fiat currencies worldwide. All fiat currencies are going to zero against blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, real world assets, steak, meats, vegetables, oil, resources, gold, silver, commodities, the list go on and on. In fact, absolutely earth-shattering admission today by the authorities that vegetable prices are up 38% month over month. Just even feeding your family healthy food so you can live a long, productive life is getting out of control. I mentioned to you that Americans at barely middle-class standards with the cost of insurance, housing, rents, foods, and that doesn't include any kind of entertainment or leisure time or vacations or anything like that, are absolutely being decimated by the state. The central bank, which has printed so much egregious, exotic fake debt in the recent decades, have now officially destroyed America and Americana as we once knew it. And this is why the smart money, of course, is moving into real assets, moving into Bitcoin, moving into islandproject.com, moving into the club, moving into gold, silver, other resources, coming up with a plan B. Keep in mind that our ecosystem here at the Island Project, as we now launch phase 2 and 3 and our soon to be multi-billion-dollar tokenization launch, is also a plan B for all of our investors. Worldwide ecosystem, worldwide access, exposure to other sovereignties worldwide, other nation states, the ability to travel within the ecosystem with other Christians and like minds, people that love God, to actually be able to use value trade and resources on our proprietary blockchain. So I want you to keep that in mind. I encourage you too, you should read the book, The Sovereign Individual. If you have not read that, please read that. It'll essentially give you a real good look of where things are headed. In fact, it was written in the 1990s. It's phenomenal. I read it almost every single year just to remind myself. It was talking about cyber money and sovereignty and individual sovereignty in these blockchain networks before they even existed. Again, this has all been hard-hitting and in your face now for multiple decades. I've come on camera for multiple decades warning you, you must buy Bitcoin. You must get in. Let's talk about Bitcoin here specifically. You need to make a choice today whether or not you get in or you're left behind forever. Bitcoin is going to over $1 million+ in the next few years. In fact, the Coinbase CEO, Brian Armstrong, said in an interview just over the last 24 hours that he believes Bitcoin minimum will be trading at $1 million+ by 2030. Well, isn't that convenient? That's the reset. Of course, the deep state, evil cabal, satanic elites have been running a masterminded Machiavellian game plan to dupe you, the American people, as they reset the system, extort, transfer all the wealth to themselves, lock you down, and then move you into the new economic era, the new epic. We're calling it the golden age because it truly is the golden age, of course, for blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin, real world assets, if you're on the right side of history. So you need to understand this. A lot of you have thought that you're going to have a choice whether or not you participate in blockchain. That's like saying you're deciding whether or not you're going to have a choice participating in electricity. That's like saying you have a choice in participating in whether or not you have a cell phone. You do not exist without a cell phone. The whole world functions on electricity. This is like the horse and carriage and now the automobile. I want you to understand that this transnational but transitional crisis period that you're currently in is the biggest one you've ever suffered in your entire life. You can either be destroyed by the cabal and enslaved over the next several months. This has already been going on for years, or you can get ahead of it. You can 1000x with us. You can participate in the greatest revolution. You can onboard Christian ARCs like the Digital Noah's Ark. You can reach out to my father, a great man, at 808-442-2934. You can live your investment. You can do big, powerful, faith-driven things with your life. You can build the kingdom of God or not. You have a black or white binary choice. Again, I remember in 2020 when I desperately begged all of you to buy Bitcoin at 3,500, and I desperately begged you, as I'm begging you today, to buy it at 100,000. I begged you to buy it at 16,000, 3,500. I'm throwing chairs in the pool. I'm telling you, buy now. I always said that it was a binary choice. Bitcoin's not going to zero, and if that means it's not going to zero and it's not going to be banned, that means it's going to infinity. Do you understand? Every major world billionaire is now clamoring to buy these assets, not to mention all of these exotic homes, all of these beachfront and oceanfront properties that have already tripled since 2020. Meat prices are at an all-time high. You go to Costco, try to get a steak. If it's prime, it'll cost you $100. The American people are losing. You're being destroyed because you're staying in fake crony currency. You're allowing yourself to be dominated by these criminal politicians, in my opinion. You're allowing your family to suffer because you're not participating. Tony Robbins has a great story on this. You know, he grew up without a lot of money. And his father, I don't think he had a good job. And he tells a story about Thanksgiving where basically him and his siblings, like, they don't have any food. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, one of those holidays. And he said, you know, his dad was yelling and his dad was an alcoholic and like he was trying to shelter the rest of his family from all that terribleness. And essentially the family was suffering. They were going hungry until there was a knock on the door. Somebody knocked on the door and it was just a man as a servant who brought a bunch of groceries for Tony Robbins and his family. It's like, hey, this is from somebody that you don't know. Heard you guys were in need. Here's your Christmas dinner. And the dad attempted to shut the door on the guy's face because he was too prideful. He actually wanted to make his kids starve. See, that's how a lot of people are acting now. You think it's a joke or something. You think that you're pretending it's not happening. You're apathetic. You're burying your head in the sand. You're pretending there's not a hyperinflationary total global takeover currently taking place worldwide, that you're not being dominated and decimated by an evil cabal that's leading into robotics and artificial intelligence that plans the great human replacement and depopulation, for crying out loud, arguably. You're pretending it's not happening. You're Tony Robbins' father slamming the door on a good thing. Here I am. I've got a bunch of food in my hands. I'm telling you guys, you need to get involved. You need to get in. You need to get educated. You need to learn. You need to change your mindset. You need to 1,000x your life. You need to buy Bitcoin. You need to get into Island Project Phase 2, Deck 2. You need to call my dad now at 808-442-2934. We're going to overfund that instantly. You think it's a joke. This is not a joke. I've had some phenomenal calls the last few days. You know who you are. I just want to do a quick shout out to my boys out in Dallas. A couple of really cool brothers I spoke to yesterday. It's funny. They're out in Dallas. The camera goes on. We're doing a Calendly. The first thing they do is they scream 1,000 freaking X. They're throwing chairs in the pool. And we had this awesome entrepreneurial crypto blockchain discussion. So amazing. In their 20s, kicking butt. Just came out of college, you know, bootstrapping entrepreneurs. See, that's how you need to be thinking. Whether or not you're 20, you're 40, or you're 80 right now, you're going through a reset. Everything that's happened is by design. 2008 and 09 was an inside job by the dirty cabal elites. Their goal was to take. Their goal was to bail themselves out, crash the system so they could buy and gobble everything up cheaply. That's what the too big to fail banks did. It was an inside job. Just like many people think 911 was an inside job. What did they do? Blew up a bubble. George Bush told you to put everything on your credit card and take your kids to Disneyland, which caused 2008 and 09. They're the ones that created the synthetic derivatives. They're the ones that locked you down in your house in 2020. They're the ones that caused the 1929 stock market crash. It was their margin. It was the Wall Street crooks. It was the dirty scam artist politicians. It was your crappy financial advisor who told you not to buy Bitcoin. I come with bread. I come with fish today. I come with the Holy Spirit. I come with charity. I literally come with the Christmas dinner. And still, many of you think it's a joke. I'm not the only one saying this. I'm telling you right now, this is your last chance to get in, last chance to onboard, to pre-reserve your reservation, your RSVP with my father, Island Project. We have 10 more properties we'll be acquiring in the next few months, soon to be a dozen more properties. Do you understand? We are fervently building the ecosystem, just like I explained yesterday. It's just like Forrest Gump. He wins the race, he scores the TD, he keeps freaking running. Do you understand? You see this within me, the fervent nature. Because again, the raindrops have already begun to hit. The digital Noah's Ark was built to float, up only. Do you understand? Up only. Deck 2, deck 3. Noah and his family were blessed. You are blessed. If you can hear this message, you're sharing this message, you can see with your eyes, through the Holy Spirit. You can hear, not just through your own ears, but through the Holy Spirit. You know I'm telling you the truth. The birth pangs are here. What they have planned will absolutely massacre the middle class, destroy individual liberty and freedom on many levels. Now, we must pray for Donald Trump. We must pray for him. You're noticing he's kind of being esoteric right now, and he's talking about God a lot and heaven and these kinds of things. He's beat up, guys. Do you understand how hard people like Donald Trump, myself, and my father have been working? Do you understand every single day we're out with bazookas on your behalf? Do you understand how difficult it is to build something from the ground up every single day, to outperform? Have you ever experienced what it takes to win? You know, you athletes out there, you businessmen, you women out there, you single moms, those of you that have struggled, that have been fighting things like cancer or, things like that, you know what it takes. Well, my brother had half his body sawed off and then staple gunned together when he died on the operating table, walked with Jesus Christ, then came back to life. You know how much pain my brother was in on a daily basis? They had to put him on drugs because it was unbearable. So unbearable, you'd almost want to end yourself. Do you understand? Nerve pain, missing limb pain. His entire hip was jacked from the right side of his freaking body. Do you get it? Many of you are way too apathetic. You think that you're going to get where you want to be in your life without hard work. You're not facing the reality. So pray for Donald Trump. He needs, honestly, to pace himself. This is even something my father has given me wonderful advice in my own life. Pace yourself, Christopher. You've got plenty of time, right? Pace yourself, but be consistent and keep moving and keep getting up. So I am just astonished that the American people, I am freaked out that when I walk down the street, if I ask 10 people, hey, do you own crypto? Do you own blockchain? And 99% of them say no, it freaks me out because I know they're not going to have jobs in the future, that literally their kids and their grandkids are going to freaking suffer because they've been duped by the deep state. They were told it was a scam. Honestly, my heart wrenches for these people because they're going to reap and sow their own ignorance. Guys, it's not just about making money. It's about preservation of the kingdom of God. Abram was blessed, named Abraham. His lineage was to be fruitful and multiply. This is where you need to be headed. So I've got some great calls today too. Michelle coming in, loaded in with another 200 units into deck 2, phase 2 of our extraordinary launch. Huge update. Speak with my father about this. Again, RSVP now. We're taking reservations now. It'll be done, honestly, very soon. It took us 3 years for the proof of concept. It'll take us 3 months to fill phase 2, and then a month to fill phase 3. Then we're launching our crypto into 25, 26. Do you understand? Billions are now flooding into the market. Hyperinflation is here. We're even starting to see weakness in the fake stock market. We're seeing that too. Donald Trump on the attack dog mode earlier today, calling Jerome Powell out, calling him things like stupid. I'm paraphrasing a bit. I think he did use that word. Ignorant. Too late, pal. Right? So we know the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates. Also, Donald Trump has uncovered massive fraud with one of the Fed governors, I believe it is. So that's a big hoopla earlier today, too. And by the way, she's been voting against The interest rate cuts only hurting Americans. Guys, in 2020, interest rates were at 3%. In places like Miami, the price of a home have doubled or tripled in the same amount of time. So think about this. If the home prices have conservatively doubled in Miami or doubled, they've tripled in Hawaii. But let's look at Miami. The prices of a house have doubled and the debt has doubled. The interest rate payment on a mortgage has doubled. That means the cost of living has already gone up 4 times since 2020 in just 5 years. So the average person is being absolutely destroyed. Your cost of life is 4 times more expensive than it was in 2020. In places like Maui, it's 10 times more expensive. California might be 5 times more expensive. Texas is 5 times more expensive with all the migration to the Sun Belt. Many of you don't understand why this is happening, and I've been explaining to you why it's happening. The deep state cabal planned an inside job wealth transfer from 2008 and 09, arguably all the way back to 2001. When I started my channel in 2008 and 09, I told you all this was coming. It was a big setup. They would transfer you into a new system, change the rules, break the old system, and give you a new one on a silver platter. Now you have stable coins and blockchain. That's the new system. That's the new debt. That will be absorbing U.S. treasuries. That's going to massacre fiat. Insane. Absolutely insane. Take a look at this today as well. Gold prices. Again, keep your eye on gold and silver. Gold, of course, at new all-time highs. If you look at the silver ratio, I mean, you could see a 10x, honestly, in silver as well. I'm not going to go too long in the tooth because I've made my peace. Guys, again, I've been doing this for years. You need to be taking action. Let's touch on crypto. Told you it would be a volatile week. You should be buying. I went in, bought a lot more Bitcoin yesterday. Good move. I told you it was going to be volatile leading into the Fed. Then we're going to be pumping through the end of the week, reaching new all-time highs into Donald Trump's declared golden age over the next few months. Prices will continue to skyrocket in these specialized real-world assets while fiat collapses, cost of living in the middle class is massacred. That's exactly what's happened in recent years and in recent decades. And it will continue. The rich will get richer. The middle class, there will be no middle class, just poor. Let's take a look at crypto here briefly. Bitcoin's on the move today, 114K. Ethereum, excellent buys yesterday. I actually added a limit order just above 4,000. That was a good move, and I knew it was the right move because a lot of these exchanges weren't functioning properly. That's typically when the exchanges want to box you out. They're front-running you and trading ahead of you. BlackRock hates you. BlackRock is front-running you on all the Bitcoin. I told you how the U.S. government is front-running you on it as well. They're silent stealth buying now. They'll be trading gold reserves at Fort Knox and other reserves for Bitcoin, so it's net neutral. Issuing treasury debt and Bitcoin treasury bonds to buy Bitcoin, so it's net neutral. Cutting deals with companies like Intel and the miners in the United States, so they earn a portion of the mining reward, so it's a net neutral acquisition of Bitcoin. Keeping it net neutral, confiscating from the exchanges. That's what the U.S. government is doing now. They have other various tactics that they're implementing in other areas. Again, you trade oil reserves for Bitcoin, it's net neutral, so you don't see it on the books. They confiscate Bitcoin from an exchange, sell it privately to Wall Street, like people like Tim Draper at a discount because it's tainted Bitcoin. Then they buy it on the other side to clean it. I told you about that a couple videos ago. We know exactly what their game plan, exactly what they're doing. Again, it's hard hitting and in your face. I predicted the lockdowns well before 2020. Exited the system from the mainland well before 2020. Told you you'd all be wearing these. I was proven right. Predicted the Ukraine war, proven right. Predicted now the peace deal's coming, proven right. Predicted Bitcoin under 1,000. I have the largest school, and have teach the largest school in the world at bitcoinrich.com for nearly a decade now. Now the Island Project, $33.5 million, no bank debt, worldwide. Now soaring to hundreds of millions of billions of dollars. Phase 2, 3, 6 key properties, no bank debt, no leverage. I want you to understand how baller that is. Someone mentioned that to me yesterday. They're like, well, Christopher, we're noticing a lot of people are copying you now, but I bet they have debt. You bet your butts they do. They will go bankrupt in the coming storm as well. We are the safest, best, highest quality, world-class, provable, proof of concept, already acquired asset class in the world. Live your investment, get enjoyment. Christians, God first, faith first. We are the sole investment. You know, most other things people invest in, they're in stocks or whatnot, or, REITs or ETFs and index funds. All of those will implode. They're fake IOUs. You don't own anything physical. All that stuff is fake. All of it. There'll be another 1929 crash soon. It's all fake. It's all debt upon debt, synthetic, exotic bullcrap. It's not worth the paper it's printed on. Take it from me. I used to work on Wall Street before I went rogue and exposed the deep state. That's why we're so large. That's why I have millions of people following me around the world. We've been proven right. We've exposed the dirty criminal politicians like the Clintons and the Obamas. We've done that for years. Going rogue with alternative media television, asking Rand Paul what he thought should happen to Hillary. He said he thought she should go to jail. Boom, alternative media television, hard-hitting and in your face. The list goes on and on and on. This is happening in real time. The crisis hasn't ended, it's just started. I'm not the only one saying this. What makes me different is I offer a solution. I offer a wholehearted, physical, real, touchable, usable solution. No one else you're tuning into does. They just tell you about problems, or they whine, or they entertain you. That's all they do. We need unity, folks. The country is great, unified. Strength comes in numbers. There are only few dirty, evil cabal elites, and then there's all of us. We have built the billionaire Christian ark. We are the first in the world to have accomplished it through the glory of God. Again, I always say this and I joke. They call you crazy until you prove it, then you're a genius. They laugh as you regulate out of your Learjets and your yachts. By the way, we are adding massive charter air travel transportation for all my elite members. Phase 2, Phase 3, and the founders. Private charter, private yachts, international rotation, each phase working together in our massive multi-billion-dollar crypto launch. This has been the roadmap for 3 years. Now things are happening quicker with AI, artificial intelligence. Again, it took us 3 years to complete the 33.5. We overfunded $500 million in open interest. Now it's only going to take 3 months. Do you understand how powerful momentum also is? People are now catching on. Again, copycats. Again, imitation is a compliment. When you're successful, people catch on. They understand. They're like, wait a minute, he's rich. He must know what he's talking about. Hold on. He used to be he used to be bankrupt, right? He used to be broke. Yeah, in a basement is what I meant to say. He used to be in a basement. Well, wait a minute, he's traveling all over the world now. He's rich. He must know something. Again, look at people and their actions and look at proof of concept. When you call my dad at 808-442-2934, he'll explain to you the proof of concept. You can look over the portfolio of already acquired physical no bank debt assets. It's not an idea, it's in physical reality. Many of the cryptos you buy aren't backed by anything. They have no cash flows. Trump coin is a meme coin. Yes, I own millions of dollars of it. It's going to go much higher, up only, but it's not backed by anything. Ethereum is just technology. Bitcoin is just technology. They're valuable. They're amazing blockchains. They're incredible gold standard use cases, but they don't actually own anything. They don't produce cash flows. If you own a block of gold, right, not only is it hard and not portable, but in addition to that, what are you going to do with it? Put it on a plane? How easy is it to move $1 million worth of gold internationally? You know how easy it is to move $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin in an instant, costlessly. You can't move a commercial building, but you can move the Island Project now, soon to be with our blockchain release, an internationalized sovereign agency. Do you understand? So, I sit here today on this incredible day, August 20th, 2025, with the Yachtmaster 2. Every time we buy a new property, I buy a new Rolex. Not because that stuff matters, but it's, they're markers. They're markers. They remind me of the amazing success, of God's victory, not my own. It reminds me of how powerful he is, how we work and who we work for. Understand, you need to think about money this way too. You're not in charge of your money, you're a steward. God owns your money. You know how your financial advisor will sit you down and sing your own good graces about how you're going to control and you're in charge, supposedly, of your own money. No, you're not. You're a steward of it. You won't take any of it with you. You're stewarding wealth. King Solomon, in all of his glory, in all of his robes, as pompous as he was, couldn't even compare to a lily. It tells us that in the Bible. You are simply stewards. A king is a steward of his kingdom and of his people. You are a steward of your family and communities. So I explained to you today, and I think the primary message, the takeaway today is, you have no time left to make a decision. You have zero time left to act. Many of you already missed our 30K minimum. You've missed our 150K minimum. Now you will miss phase 2 and phase 3 and the blockchain launch. You will miss all of it because you failed to act. You will miss Bitcoin because it'll be trading at above $1 million. Very, very soon, within the next 2 to 5 years. Gare unfreaking teed. Sovereign wealth funds. Harvard just admitted to buying Bitcoin. Everyone's getting involved in Bitcoin. The richest people on planet Earth, including myself, all own blockchain and Bitcoin. We came from nowhere. We are not now the new glitterati elite for a reason. Because the American people got it wrong and we got it right. I love you all. Links below. Call my dad. Book an RSVP now. He'll put you in the book. I've shown you the book. There's 2 of them. Phase 2. Get your name in the book. Participate. We're also opening up incredible access across our properties as well for more use, more lifestyle enjoyment as you live your investment. You can pick any property. It's completely diversified across all the main island chains here in Hawaii. Park City, Utah, massive ski lodge that we purchased, of course, about a year ago. And then as we continue to internationally diversify around the world, we've built truly an exclusive network, which will soon populate somewhere between 70 and 100 individual properties, all ranging between $3 to $5 million plus. It's kind of our sweet spot. I've got properties all the way up to $7-ish, $8 million like in Park City. And I have a few spec homes I believe will be worth 15 to 30 million in the next 10 years by themselves. Because hyperinflation is here. My grandfather paid $30,000 for his place in Long Beach, California. Not too long ago, it's now worth over $5 million. Because again, the American people are losing their ability to ownership. You're losing out to BlackRock, which keeps screwing you. BlackRock is buying every single family home in America to destroy all of your lives. They want you to rent and eat bugs. They hate your freaking guts. They are godless freaks. I bring the truth. I love you. Jesus Christ is King. Links below. Get into my club and book a call. I've got some amazing consult coming. I'm revealing heartfelt information. I have to say not investment advice because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just rich. I told you to buy Bitcoin when it first launched. And a lot of things I can't talk about here publicly. Again, you want to be a part of our network, our exclusive network. You want to be closely aligned with myself and Papa John and my 400 plus members now worldwide. You want to be a part of that ecosystem. It's very important for your success and launch. Most of the middle class jobs will be absolutely replaced by AI in Luddite form. Algorithms, supercomputers, NVIDIA chips, and the big tech giants soon. This is all happening now. White-collar jobs will be non-existent in the future, a lot of them. Even creative jobs, a lot of them could go by the wayside. I can now produce a new vocal artist in with less than 4 seconds. Sounds real, looks real. I can generate it with AI. I can do it in 5 seconds. You see all the memes we're putting out there. I've got my team working on them daily. You can build entire movies now for free, for crying out loud. But I do think there's going to be a revolt against it. I do believe people will crave reality and physical stuff. Notice all the billionaires don't wear Oculuses, folks. They just sell it to you. What does Mark Zuckerberg do every 4th of July? He's surfing in real life, not in fakeness. Again, that's a part of the deceit and the deception. They want you a slave and they want you weak and they want you compliant. I want you free, I want you liberated, and I want you rich. I want you non-compliant. I want you only kneeling for Jesus Christ, the King, and no one else worldwide. Links below. I love you all. Mary, good to see you. VZ Fat Cat, you a baller. My boys in Compton, that was one of my first investors. Compton, baby. Compton, baby. We represent. The Chosen Ones, 2025, Cristiano 84. Cody, you got a good name? And yes, expect the pump, because the golden age, for those of you that acted, for those of you that took the initiative, for those of you that didn't overthink and you went all in, you will win. In the coming days, weeks, and months, as the golden age continues and what Donald Trump promises to deliver transpires. Links below. See our terms and disclaimers. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just rich. I invented fractional tokenized real estate. We now own over $33.5 million of no bank debt properties. Phase 2 will be filled imminently. Phase 3 imminently, as we soon prepare for our tokenization worldwide launch, the first in the world to do it, to physically tokenize already acquired physical real estate around the world. God bless. Like and share.